Okay, are you ready for the next? I would like to introduce to you Jairson Vitorino. He's CTO and founder of E.Life. I would really like to invite you to the stage and do your talk, please. Very welcome. There you go.
Hello. Good night and good morning. A little bit about me. It was great that Reggie just motivated all of us to think about the consumer-centered approach. I think I'll complement that in terms of how can we build processes and methodology to accomplish this consumer-centered approach in companies in branding of all sizes. So just a little bit about us. We've been working for 10 years now. We are a social data analysis company. We're based in Brazil, then we expanded to Spain and Europe and Latin America. So pretty much our customers are European languages and focused on Portuguese and Spanish and English. And 2 years ago, we started a SaaS project to work with our customers on a topic that we found that every client was worried about, and that was how to be relevant. So this is how we all know everybody is watching television, browsing through the internet, buying at Amazon, and maybe looking at the tweets in their Apple Watch. So everybody is completely suffering for totally attention disorder deficit in our society today. So brands that invest millions in television spots and in the past, and New York Times advertising, etc., they just don't get the results that they had in the 80s or in the 90s. So the thing is, and the question is, how to be relevant? How can we conquer this attention-starving world? How can we be listened? So how can I engage you at least at 30 seconds in my message, whatever my message is? So that was our question, and that's also our quest with our clients everywhere in our markets. And we developed a 3-word motto called I3 that helps us to provide a framework to think about this quest, how to be relevant. And those words are identity, intelligence, and interaction. So let's start with identity, and let's start looking at the smartest companies on earth. Let's start with Amazon. What do you see here at the Amazon Deutschland, Amazon Germany, that comes to our attention right away is how many places you can actually sign in for a new account. So Amazon primary real estate, which is the homepage, is redundant in terms of where it captures data from new users. So that's the thing that matters most. One of the things that matter most to Amazon is to gather this identity. How many brands, how many global brands spent $100 million in a space of 5 years in budget, in advertising, in television, etc., etc. And then we asked them, how many people do you gather from these $100 million? How many consumers do you know? How many registers? How many emails do you have? And they say, oh, actually, we were just worried about our branding, our recall, so nobody stops to think, okay, how can I get my $1 million and get at least a little bit of value apart from the old chanting branding. Okay, so that's one of the main things that I want to call attention to you. Facebook today is one of the best tools to gather this identity. Facebook is everywhere. Facebook is the primary interface for millennials and also for us, for everybody is in Facebook practically. And they give you a free tool called Sign In with Facebook to gather identities. Many brands are using this, but they are forgetting to create a dynamic to collect more data from this user, because they can, and that's free. So you can, for example, just an example that we are working on in a mall in Portugal. We have free Wi-Fi, and we just ask the customers for their identity in social login in exchange of this free Wi-Fi. And that's a very simple deal for the consumer. You get free service, I get to know you better, and I might send you a few relevant information about our new offerings, our new retail stores, our new movies in the movie theater. So this is the first thing that in our methodology, this I3, these 3 words that matters: identity. Why not start getting identities? So first lesson. Use your market investment. Use $1 million that you have, or $100 million in 5 years, also to generate a captive audience. You will just be copying one of the smartest companies on earth, that's Amazon. So that's nothing new, that's nothing that we are inventing. We're just looking at the best of the best in terms of benchmarking in the internet and just summarizing why Amazon is so successful. That's one of our assumptions. That's because they care a lot about identity from consumers. Second smartest company on earth, Netflix. You probably have heard of Netflix. It's all over Europe now. It's in North America. It's in South America. It started in 1997. 2 years ago, they had 33 million subscribers. Today, they have almost 80 million subscribers. So it's like Poland population, all population of Turkey. So in 2 years, they just doubled the thing. One thing that they did very, very right was to use something that for us is still, for many of us, is still a sci-fi, which is artificial intelligence. How they do that? Back there in 2010, they started working with the database, just looking at their patterns, how consumers were consuming, watching movies, what were the best features of a movie, what made a movie to be watched and rewatched, which actors, which directors, which plots. And they got from these algorithms, together of course with humans analyzing the results, they got the first ever series that was created by an artificial intelligence entity. That's true. That's not sci-fi. That was some artificial intelligence entity together with human beings cooperating, came up with House of Cards that I'm sure you all know, that got a lot of prizes in the US, and one of the first hits, one of the most successful hits in the story of a series in the United States and worldwide. So this is one thing that we think, okay, this is just Netflix, right? This is too much for us, artificial intelligence. Actually, if you have the data, you have the possibility of mining this data with open source free tools. You just have to hire maybe 1 or 2 people in your team, in your market team that is familiar to specific tools. And with the data, you can accelerate your insights using these algorithms. Google, last week, they announced that they are open sourcing their machine learning infrastructure. That means all their machine learning infrastructure is free for any developer to use. So in an agency, if you have a guy that understands a little bit of code, and he goes to a e-learning course and gets 10 hours of machine learning, this guy will be able to do what Google does with their data. So it's as simple as that. It's in our hands. It's within reach right now for us. And that's the thing about the second I, that's intelligence. So not only IBM or Oracle or Microsoft or Google or Facebook has access to artificial intelligence algorithms, we all have access to them. We all marketers and IT personnel have access to this, has access to this thing. So other thing that Facebook and Twitter and Google are introducing in their marketing framework for ads, for example, is custom audience. So you divide your audience in niches. For example, in Twitter or in Facebook, you can upload 100,000 emails, and you can make sure that whenever these people are tweeting or whenever these people are navigating on Facebook, they will get information from you. So let's say someone registered on a website or in an application yesterday, and weekend is approaching, and you're selling sushi. You are a sushi restaurant chain. What do? You get this guy in front of your sushi best offer on Saturday at 5 p.m. Whenever he's browsing Facebook, he will look at your ad. So this is one thing that is possible today to do. How many of you or how many brands, global brands, know about this feature? I've been asking my clients, and I've been asking everybody from Germany, Portugal, Brazil, Mexico, and many people did not know about this specific, very almost hidden feature that gives you a whole perspective, a whole new perspective of reaching your audiences. So together, combine with your identity and with intelligent algorithms as well. So to summarize, the third I, so one I was identity, the other I was intelligence, and the third I is interaction. So when you interact, when you invest in ads, with a more informed background from your consumers that you get from their interests, their likes, their navigation patterns, you can measure, you can compare. This is one of our tools that compare, for example, ads in Facebook and ads in Twitter. And you can, in real time, you can decide every hour or every day if your message is adequate for your client. So this is real-time marketing. This is something that is today possible, something that you can use in Facebook, Google, Twitter, Pinterest, any kind of mobile ad network, any kind of website network, you can today do. So the third lesson would be, do not let your customer leave. So it's all about, and we are coming back to the first I, it's all about identity. It's all about every dollar that you invest, instead of just be concerned about branding, let's all look at the bigger picture. Let's all gather identities. Let's all study our consumers. Let's do our homework and learn how those consumers are moving into the digital world, and let's try to find out more to better serve them in the future. So that's all about, again, to the basics, consumer satisfaction. That's the message we wanted to leave today. So we have 2 minutes. We have this consumercenteredmonitor.com. It's a resource of articles and videos and links about this consumer-centered monitor, and everything that I spoke now is well explained in articles that we wrote along 2 years now about our methodology and how you can leverage open source artificial intelligence software and everything, but no difficulties at all, not technical, It's written for markets, for this audience, this public, and I hope you enjoy. And now, thank you very much. Teşekkür ederim. And
Thank you very much. Yeah, give him a big hand. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Also nice that somebody is handing out the tools that we need. Are there questions for Jairson? Yes? There you go.
Thank you. So thank you for the speech. I'm not so sure if this is
I can hear you.
okay.
Can you please switch the mic on here? Thank you.
So I think I agree with the framework that you have today, but also yesterday we heard a lot about ad blocking, private browsing and stuff. So users are getting more and more concerned about their data and their identity. I mean, in the emerging markets like Turkey and Brazil, maybe this framework would work for another 5 years. But like UK or France, since you can't get identity that easily, I think framework needs to change in a way. How do you envision that? Like in a year or 2 years, how would your framework evolve?
That's a very good question, and that's I live in Germany, which was one of the countries more concerned about privacy and for historical reasons and everything. And I get this question every time I'm in Germany. What we're talking about here is a fair exchange. So the consumer will have the choice to give his identity to the brand. So it's up for the brand to gauge or to conquer consumer trust. That's the thing. So it's a fair exchange between, if I am as a consumer, I trust, let's say, Lufthansa, and I give my data to Lufthansa, it's because Lufthansa work for that. So I trust this specific brand, as I trust my bank, as I trust my my credit card. So these things happen since the credit card was invented, and since the bank was invented, we have been giving our identities and our details, financial details, etc., to companies. So it's up for the companies to conquer the trust of consumers. But privacy laws will enforce that consumers will be protected.
One question I hear a lot in the market, that a lot of brands are afraid to use the Facebook login because they're afraid that they lose the client data to Facebook, and what would you advise them?
It's the other way around, because Facebook will give you more data than, because they already in Facebook. So you will know that John is in Facebook and he liked Mad Men, for example, or House of Cards. So this information is actually being given from Facebook to the brand, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So that's
and how do they store all the information if they get it? Because they, like you said, what tool would you advise them to use if they want to add more information to the customer profiles?
Then you have to have to run a procedure of getting identity, for example, by email. So if you have this email on your database and you match the email that just came from Facebook, then you can enrich your profile. But Facebook won't know about that, because that will happen in your internal infrastructure.
Very interesting remark you made is also spend more money on CRM and customer-centric data than on media and advertising, which you will probably be sponsoring the publishers, but you're not building value in your own company.
Exactly. So why not, when you invest $1 million, why not also have a goal, okay, I want 50,000 people to be converted on my database, because I want to follow up with these people. I want to offer special products or services or anything. So the idea is to start a dialogue, more than just branding. The message is, let's talk. We want to talk to you.
Thank you. We have time for 2 more questions. If you in the back, it's more difficult to see you because it's a bit dark. If you have a question, please raise your hand. I saw a question here. Here you go.
As you said, it's an option for the customers to log in with the Facebook, but with the changing APIs of Facebook, starting from the April, you cannot get the data of the customers unless you show them how to use the data of the customers within the application or within your website. So you can get their email address or their public profiles during the login, but you cannot collect the personal information, actually. So if I'm not going to collect the info, how can I create a conversation with the customers just through the emails?
This is also a very interesting question. Facebook is always changing their privacy and the rules because of of this interaction between markets and Facebook. The main point here is to start a dialogue, and to start a dialogue, we only need the email of the person. It would be good if this email was the same email as Facebook, because then we have this custom audience feature, so you can upload this email to Facebook and say, okay, let's start a conversation right now. I have an ad here, I can email you, and then I can start a conversation. I can try to convert you to my base, so I can ask more questions. So just a plain example, you register on my website using Facebook login, and then I show you an ad of sushi, and then you come to my place, and I said, wow, you downloaded this coupon via Facebook. Can you please answer more questions here so you get an extra discount or a dessert or stuff like that. So it's all about starting this conversation too.
Okay, thank you very much for your clear answer. Please give him a big hand applause, Jairson Vitorino. Thank you very much. I have a little question to some people in the middle. You are now like me in the spotlight. Do you like it? No? Can we switch the light down a bit in the room? Because I see some people that are, or you brought your sunglasses to Istanbul. Is that better? Okay, thank you very much. You're my guest, so I need to take care of you.